Good morning, good morning, good morning, folks. Welcome to the QT Bible Study with Steve Leavitt. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey. It is time to get up and get in the Word. Good morning, TikTok, Hatina, and Debbie. I still have my contacts in the wrong eye, so I can't see that far away. Lollipop, something like that. I don't know. Casey, winner, chicken dinner. Casey, good morning to you. Glad you're here this morning. Hi, Melissa, Yolanda, Sarah. We are in Genesis chapter 30. Genesis chapter 30, verse 25 is where we're going to pick up today. If that's all right with you guys. Hello, Peter. Good morning, Cheryl and Robbie. Your hat's crooked. Just trying to help you out. Thanks, Sarah. Is it crooked, really? See, now you're going to mess with me. I'm going to go with it. Morning, Beth and Nikki, Jennifer. Tammy Bo Mullen on YouTube. Tammy Bo. That's awesome. Tammy Bo on YouTube. Good to see you this morning. Hi, Janice. Look, I got to hustle today. I've got to be over at New Braunfels. I've got to get over to New Braunfels this morning to speak to a group of women. Well, I don't know if it's going to be all women. I guess maybe some guys there on motivation, how to find motivation, real estate agents, how to find motivation. So I've got a speaking engagement this morning over in New Braunfels. So I'm going to be a little bit more brief. I will go live on TikTok on how to find balance in your motivation at 9 o'clock this morning. 9 o'clock Central. 9 o'clock Central, I'll be on live again, giving a talk on how to find motivation. I'll tell my story in the beginning, and then give my points on how to find balance in your motivation. How to be motivated. It's going to be pretty cool. So it should be good. Some more Facebook users. I can't see your name. They said, good morning, good morning, good morning. Stephanie, good morning. Katie, Lola, Sammy, Linda, good morning to everybody. All right. We're going to start a little bit early. So let's go. Genesis chapter 30, verse 25. We saw yesterday the 12 tribes of Israel, right? With Jacob's sons. All the sons we got straightened out yesterday in the 12 tribes of Israel, and Jacob through 4 different women, basically, Rachel, Leah, and both her maids. Not what God designed, not how God designed it, but God uses it anyway. And that's the beauty of our life, in that we don't live the way he designed us to live perfectly, and he uses us anyway. And I am a prime example. I'm a mess, and God uses me anyway. So it comes time for Jacob to leave, and he does some weird sheep and goat stuff, with taking sheep and goats with him as he is exiting Laban, and where he got Rachel and Leah, the daughters of Laban, Rachel and Leah, and as his wives. And now he's going back to where Abraham was, back to the land of Israel. He's been in Ur, a place called Ur. Now he's going to go back to Canaan, the land of Israel. So here we go. Y'all ready? Genesis chapter 30, verse 25. Genesis chapter 30, verse 25. Now it came about when Rachel had borne Joseph that Jacob said to Laban, Send me away that I may go on my own place, go back to my own place and my own country. Give me my wives, my children, in whom I have served you, and let me depart. For you yourself know my service, which I have rendered you. Now, if you'll watch, Laban's a tricky dude. Laban is not a trustworthy guy. He's a liar and a deceiver, and he shows this out. But he's saying, hey, it's time for me to go. I'm out of here. And he's trying to get Laban's blessing. That was the appropriate, right thing to do, to get the blessing and say it's time to go. But Laban said to him, verse 27, if now it pleases you, stay with me. I have divined that the Lord has blessed me on your account. Yeah, you haven't divined anything. It's a fact. Since Jacob had been there, his crops had multiplied, his herds had multiplied. Everything about his life had gotten better because the blessing of God was on Jacob, and the blessing boiled over into Laban's life. So everything has been blessed on your account. And he continued and said, name me your wages. I'll give it to you. But he said to him, you yourself know how I have served you and how your cattle have fared with me. For you had a little before I came, and it has increased to a multitude. And the Lord has blessed you wherever I've turned. But now, when shall I provide for my own household also? He says, nice try, Laban, but I'm out. I'm taking off. So he said, what shall I give you? And Jacob said, don't give me anything. If you will do but this one thing, I will again pasture and keep your flocks. That doesn't mean I'll stay. He's going, but he's going to take care of his flocks for a little bit here. Here's the one thing he's going to do. Let me pass through your entire flock today, removing from there every speckled and spotted sheep and every black one from among the lambs, and the spotted and specked ones from among the goats. Such shall be my wage. So my honesty will answer for me later whenever it is concerning my wage, even one that is not speckled or spotted among the goats and blacks among the lambs. If they are found with me, it will be considered stolen. So all he wanted in exchange, a parting gift, Laban offered him, what can I give you as a parting gift? And Jacob says, just give me the blemished ones, the lamb, the sheep that have, the goats that have spot, the black sheeps and things like that. Just give me those and I'll be on my way. This is really a whole weird story. I don't even know why it's really in here. I don't know what the purpose is other than to show once again that God provides and God blesses and God takes care of Jacob. God takes care of his chosen over and over and over again. And that's what's happening right here. And Laban says, good, let it be according to your word, verse 34. Verse 35. So he removed on that day the striped and spotted male goats and all the speckled and spotted female goats, every one with white in it, and all the black ones among the sheep, and gave them into the care of his sons. And he put at a distance 3 days' journey between himself and Jacob. And Jacob fed the rest of Laban's flocks. Then Jacob took fresh rods of popular almond and plane trees and peeled white stripes on them, exposing the white which was on the rods. And he set the rods which he had peeled in front of the flocks in the gutters and even in the watering troughs where the flock came to drink. And they mated whenever they came to drink. So the flocks mated by the rods, and the flocks brought forth striped, speckled, and spotted. And Jacob separated the lambs and made the flocks face towards the stripes, and all the black in the flock of Laban. And he put his own herd apart, but did not let them with Laban's flock. So he separated everything out. Moreover, it came about whenever the stronger of the flock were mating that Jacob would place the rods in the side of the flock in the gutters so that they might mate by the rods. But whenever the flock was feeble, whenever it was a weak lamb or a weak goat, not a healthy one, once he wouldn't want to reproduce, he did not put it in there. So the feebler were Laban's and the stronger were Jacob's. I don't really understand completely what's going on here. Let me explain a couple of things. Well, let me read verse 43. So the man became exceedingly prosperous and had large flocks and females and male servants and camels and donkeys. I'm not sure exactly what just happened. We do know this. Goats and sheep carry genetics that even though it's spotted or not spotted, it can still produce the other. It's like whenever I go out pig hunting out here on the ranch, there'll be this one mama pig, and maybe she's just black, but she gives birth to red and yellow and spotted pigs, all these different kinds of pigs, because they carry genetics for that. The whole stick and cutting the bark off the stick, stripes and everything on the stick, and putting it in front of them, apparently, I don't think it actually works. Maybe it was just a myth, or maybe it was something through God spiritually. But whenever he would put these sticks down in their watering trough, it would make them come into heat and want to breed. So he increased their breeding desire in heat with these sticks. Now, he seemed to be able to control whether they would breed or not. So you're a healthy lamb. Here's a stick. Now go breed. Great. Now you're bred. You're an unhealthy lamb. No stick. Don't breed. Don't reproduce, because you don't produce healthy lambs. But honestly, I don't even know what that's all about. What's that story even about? Maybe somebody has a takeaway. Does somebody have a note on why is this even in the Bible? I'm not sure. All this to say, though, that Jacob, we see in that last verse, 42, whenever the flock was feeble, he did not put them. So the feeblers were Laban. Somehow Jacob, what he discerned out were the things that the ones that he took out for himself were the stronger ones, and he left the weaker ones with Laban. He grew a herd of strong sheep and goats and a herd of weak sheep and goats, and he gave the weak ones to Laban, which is about what he deserved. Laban had lied and deceived to him and everything else. But anyway, so Jacob took his strong herd, his strong goats, blessed by God, and his servants, and he took off. Yeah. I mean, obviously unblemished, but stronger, and I don't know. I guess that's what it's about. But that's a whole lot of talk for that. So let's keep going on a little bit further here and see what else happens. I just don't have some great insight here. I have a note saying that the vivid impression of mating time influenced the offspring. The selective breeding and God's promise of provision were the main reason that Jacob's flocks increased. Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Is the only thing I get from this is that God provides, right? God's provision. Chapter 31. Let's keep going. Chapter 31, Genesis chapter 31. Now Jacob heard the words of Laban's son, saying, Jacob has taken away all that was our father's, and from what belonged to our father, he has made his wealth. And Jacob saw the attitude of Laban, and behold, it was not friendly towards him as formerly. Laban didn't like Jacob. Jacob just did exactly what he said he was going to do. But because it blessed Jacob and grew Jacob, Laban apparently was not friendly to him like before. Then the Lord said to Jacob, return to the land of your fathers and to your relatives, and I will be with you. So Jacob sent and called Rachel and Leah to his flock in the field. And he said to them, I see your father's attitude, that it is not friendly towards me as formerly, but the God of my father has been with me. And you know that I have served your father with all my strength. Yet your father has cheated me and changed his wages 10 times. However, God did not allow him to hurt me. That verse right there will preach all day long. Laban cheated me. He's changed my wages over and over again, yet God protected me. Do you have to fight your own fights always? Do you have to rant and rage and roar to get what you want? God does what God's going to do. God blesses. God does what God's going to do. You don't have to be aggressive and angry to fix your life. You don't have to force anything. God did not allow him to hurt me. Verse 8. If he spoke thus, the speckled shall be your wages, then all the flock brought forth speckled. And if he spoke thus, the stripes shall have been your wages, then the flock brought forth stripes. What he's saying there is, it doesn't matter what Laban said. Laban's whining about it, but it didn't matter what Laban said. God blessed. Not because I did anything tricky. God chose to bless us. Verse 9. Thus God has taken away your father's livestock and given them to me. And it came about at the time whenever the flocks were mating that I lifted up my eyes and saw in a dream, and behold, the male goat which were mating with the striped, speckled, and molted. Then the angel of God said to me in a dream, Jacob. I said, here I am. And he said, lift up now your eyes and see that all the male goats which are mating at the striped, speckled, and molted, for I have seen all that Laban has been doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a pillar, where you made a vow to me. Now arise, leave this land, and return to the land of your birth. And Rachel and Leah answered and said to him, do we still have any portion of inheritance in our father's house? Are we not reckoned to him as foreigners? But he has sold us and has also entirely consumed our purchase price. I don't even really follow what's going on here, other than I guess they're asking, do we have any value still with Laban, Rachel and Leah? Surely all the wealth which God has taken away from our father belongs to us and our children. Now then, do whatever God has said to you. Then Jacob arose, put his children and his wives on his camels, and he drove away all his livestock and all of his property, which he had gathered. He acquired livestock which he had gathered at Paddan to go into the land of Canaan to his father Isaac. When Laban had gone to shear the flocks, then Rachel stole the household idols that were her father's. Rachel wasn't content with all the wealth that Jacob had. She stole the idols. I don't think she wanted more wealth. I think she wanted the idols. I think Rachel worshiped other gods. Rachel, and so she took these idols, these probably gold figures of idols that Rachel took with her. When Laban had gone to shear verse 20, and Jacob deceived Laban, the Aramean, by not telling him that he was fleeing. So he didn't tell Laban he was leaving. He just said, we're going. And maybe rightfully so, maybe he was fearful that Laban would fight him on it or whatever. He kept trying to leave Laban, and Laban wouldn't let him go. So he just left without telling Laban. Yeah, so Jacob's gone back to his old ways of deception again. So he fled with all that he had and arose. Verse 21. So he fled with all that he had, and he arose and crossed the Euphrates River, and he set his face towards the hill country of Gilead. When it was told Laban on the third day that Jacob had fled, then he took his kinsmen with him, and he pursued him at a distance of 7 days' journey, and he overtook him in the hills of Gilead. And God came to Laban the Aramean in a dream that night and said to him, be careful that you do not speak to Jacob either good or bad. God was looking out for Jacob, and he appears to Laban and said, Laban, that's my boy. Be careful what you say. Be careful how you act. Be careful how you treat my boy. And I think God advocates for us the same way. God wants to protect. And Laban caught up with Jacob. Now Jacob had pitched his tent in the hill country with his kinsmen, camped at the country in Gilead. Then Laban said to Jacob, what have you done by deceiving me and carrying away my daughters like captives of the sword? Your daughters, baloney. Jacob married them. Jacob, did y'all just see that cat that ran by? They're not his daughters. He's a controlling, manipulative dude. He still views these girls as his daughters, not Jacob's wives. 27. Why did you flee secretly and deceive me and did not tell me so that I might have sent you away with joy and song, with timbrel and lyre, and did not allow me to kiss my sons and my daughters? Now you have done foolishly. Laban, zip it, Zippy. Honestly, just zip it. I know this attitude. I know this personality. It's like he says, oh, I would have sent you away with a celebration. There's no guarantee of that. You haven't proven that at all. You've proven to be controlling and lying and deceiving, and I wasn't putting up with it. So anyway, he took off. Verse 29, it is in my power to do harm to you. That's so this personality, to threaten, to try to intimidate and threaten. This Laban personality. He's narcissistic. I'm certain of it. It's in my power to hurt you if I want to. But the God of your father spoke to me last night, saying, be careful not to speak either good or bad. And now you have indeed gone away because you longed greatly for your father's house. But why did you steal my gods? Then Jacob answered and said to Laban, because I was afraid, for I said, lest you would take your daughters from me by force. See, Jacob said, look, I have every reason to believe that you would have taken the daughters back by force. So I'm out. The one with whom you find your gods shall not live in the presence of our kinsmen. Point out what is yours among my belongings and take it for yourself. So Jacob's going, I don't know what you're talking about, the gods, but you're welcome to search everything. And if you find it, you can take it back. For Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen them. So Laban went into Jacob's tent and into Leah's tent and into the tent of the two maids, but he did not find them. Then he went out to Leah's tent and entered Rachel's tent. Went out of Leah's tent and entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household idols and put them in the camel's saddle, and she sat on them. And Laban felt through all the tent, but did not find them. So Rachel's sitting on the camel. All the gods are in the saddlebags of the camels, and Rachel's sitting on the camel. She would need to get off the camel in order to have the camel searched. And she said to her father, let not my Lord be angry that I cannot rise before you, for the manner of woman is upon me. She was on her period. Because I'm on my period, I can't get off my camel. I don't know what that's about. But because I'm on my period, I can't get off my camel. So I'm sorry. You just can't search my camel. So he searched, but did not find the household idols. Then Jacob became angry and contended with Laban. And Jacob answered and said to Laban, what is my transgression? What is my sin that you have hotly pursued me? Though you have felt through all my goods and have found all of your, and have you found all of your household goods? Set it there before my kinsmen. Set it here before my kinsmen and your kinsmen, that they may decide between us two. These 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes and your female goats have not miscarried, nor have I eaten the rams of your flocks. That which I have torn of beast I did not bring to you. I bore the loss of it myself. You required it of my hand whether stolen by day or night, stolen by night. Thus I was, verse 40, thus I was. By day the heat consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sheep fled from my eyes. These 20 years I have been in your house. I have served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your flocks, and you changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had not been for me, surely now you would have sent me away empty handed. God has seen my affliction and my toil in my hands, so he rendered judgment last night. Then Laban answered and said to Jacob, the daughters are my daughters, and the children are my children, and the flocks are my flocks, and all that you see is mine. Mine, mine, mine. He's like a little child. But what can I do this day for these my daughters, the 2 children whom they have borne? So now come, let us make a covenant, that you and I, let it be a witness between you and me. Sorry, I'm just reading through here. So you guys, reading through here. Yeah. Verse 45. Then Jacob took a stone, set it up as a pillar. Jacob said to his kinsmen, gather stones. So they took stones, made a heap, and they ate there by the heap. Now Laban called it Jegar, but Jacob called it Gilead. And Laban said, it's a witness between you and me this day. Therefore it was named Gilead. And Mizpah, for he said, may the Lord watch between you and me whenever we are absent from one another. If you mistreat my daughters, or if you take wives besides my daughters, although no man is with us, see, God is witness between you and me. And Laban said to Jacob, behold, this heap, and behold, the pillars which I have set between you and me. This heap is a witness, and the pillar is a witness, that I will not pass by this heap to you for harm, and you will not pass by this heap to the pillars to me for harm. The God of Abraham, the God of Nahor, the God of God of their father, judge between us. So Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. Verse 54, Genesis 31, verse 54. Then Jacob offered a sacrifice on the mountain and called his kinsmen to the meal. And they ate the meal and spent the night on the mountain. And early in the morning, Laban arose, and he kissed his sons and his daughters and blessed them. Then Laban departed and returned to his place. That may be the most I've ever read at one time. But we had to get through all that. A whole lot of blah, blah, blah to say God loved Jacob, and God protected Jacob, and God watched over Jacob, and God provided for Jacob, and God took care of Jacob, and God encouraged Jacob. God spoke to Jacob. God intervenes in our life. God is real, God is present, and God does what God needs to do in your life. Stop living as though you don't have a God in your life. Stop living as though God is not an important part of your life. God is all of your life. Everything that happens, all the world around you is rotating around God. God's in charge of everything. Stop living and not even thinking about God all day long. That's my encouragement for me, is like, I don't want to live in a way where God is just something I do occasionally. God is my life. God is every moment. God is a part of what's happening right now. And I think the more you dive in and live your life day in and day out, all day long, through the filter of what God's doing in your life, the better you'll do. Just recognize that everything that's happening has a God thing to it. What's your takeaway? I got 2 minutes and then I got to get going. Yes, Cheryl, good point. Jamie says, I got that. Good morning, Bridget. Tammy, good morning. Jacob's going to miss that guy. Not. Right? He's not going to miss that guy at all. Yes. You should be able to die for God. That's right, James. Love Jacob. Let God fight my battles. That's what Jacob did. And Jacob was a goober, right? Jacob didn't even do his part very well, and God still fought his battles. Beautiful. Do you think Rachel was, in fact, evenly yoked with Jacob after all she has done here? Great question. I don't. I actually don't think she was equally yoked. I think she was probably saved, but I think she worshiped other idols also. I think she worshiped other gods. I think she had a lot of other gods in her life. She was probably saved. I think that she believed in Yahweh and God, but they would use these other little g gods for like fertility, the mandrakes, fertility idols, and these little idols, goddesses, and things like that. They would use them almost kind of like in a token way. I think she understood that there was one main God, Yahweh, but she flirted with all these. It would be like a Christian going to get their palm read, or a Christian, something like that. And not good. Not good. I don't know, though. Who knows, Janice? She was a bit confused, no question. No matter how selfish people are towards like God, take care of it. Yeah, we covered a lot today, and I'm in a hurry, so I'm sorry. I don't have a lot of time just to hang out and talk. Let me pray for you guys, and we'll wrap it up. Lord, thank you for today and our time today. I thank you that you love us, that you'll never leave us nor forsake us. Lord, thank you that you provide, protect, nurture, care for us, even in our weakness. Lord, you are made strong. I pray, Lord, that you would help us all walk 24 hours a day with you, that we would be mindful of you and what you're doing and what we can do for you all hours of the day, that we wouldn't leave you on the shelf with our Bible, or just show up on Sunday with you, or just pray whenever we're in crisis. Lord, I pray that we would live our life out the way it should be, and that is every hour with you. Thanks for loving us. For it's in Christ's name we pray. Amen. All right. I will be live on TikTok at 9:00 this morning, delivering a 1-hour talk on the balance in life, basically what's important in your life. So you guys can check that out. Have a great day. Keep on keeping on. Bye, guys.